All right. I'm exhausted from fighting misinformation. So I'm going to apologize off the hop if I make some crazy errors or if I bring you down. It's been a barrage of bullshit. I'm going to talk about Chrystia Freeland, taxes, Amazon, and Stellantis. Let me start with Chrystia Freeland. Did you remember that she was running for PM? You'd be forgiven if you haven't. Chrystia Freeland will scrap capital gains tax hike if elected. Why does it take all of this? Why did it have to come to all of this before everyone apparently realizes that we're overtaxed? And please, spare me. Don't try to convince me that the Conservatives are the party of less taxes. Like, are you new? Have you not lived in Canada? Since we're having a carbon tax election, just remember, Stephen Harper invented the carbon tax. Just because JT implemented it the way he did, that doesn't mean that they invented the tax. And we have a GST holiday, which I'm guessing the Conservatives hate because it's a holiday for a tax that they implemented. And since we're talking about the capital gains, I will remind you, the reason we're discussing the movement of the capital gains is because back during Mulroney, we increased the inclusion rate from 50 to 66.6, and then they increased it again to 75%. And it was the Liberals under Chrétien that cut it back down to 50%. Do you remember Jagmeet Singh saying that it should go up to a 75% inclusion rate, and people called him a radical left socialist? But he got the idea from the Conservatives. So yes, don't try to convince me somehow the Conservatives are the party of lower taxes. That's never been the case. I don't know why it would be the case now. All right, Captain Dick Rocket is pulling his company out of Quebec because he hates unions. Don't say it's the federal government. Don't be stupid. This has nothing to do with Ottawa. If it was a federal thing, he would pull his company out of every province. He's just pulling out of Quebec. Why? Because he hates unions. Go check out all the stories about how terrible the labor conditions are at Amazon facilities in the U.S. All right, speaking of job losses, this story about Canada losing 1,500 jobs is... I can't, man. If you haven't heard about it, it's because it's not true. So I'll tell you the real story. Stellantis has been in trouble all of 2024, and it might not survive 2025. And if Canada loses Stellantis, that's a big deal. Now you may hear that Stellantis had plans to build a Durango in Ontario, but that's not really true. Now, the Durango is currently built in Detroit, and to avoid the UAW, they were considering moving production to Windsor. In September, the UAW filed charges against Stellantis for illegally refusing to release information about plans to move the Durango from Detroit to Canada. It never actually moved. It was just a plan. And the 1,500 workers, I don't know where they came from. The only thing I could find is there's 1,500 workers going to work at the Belvedere plant to build a small pickup truck. So to avoid problems with the UAW, they're going to build the new Durango at the same facility as the old Durango. It's a non-story, and it brings me to the question, why are we pushing out these non-stories? No, really, why is it that the Conservatives, because you know it's coming from Conservatives, why are they paying so much and putting so much effort into this bullshit propaganda that Canada is broken? Could it be because they want to get in power and impose more taxes on you as they have in the past? There's got to be some reason, because they're not fixing Canada. They're breaking it more every day. And you got to ask yourself why. Where is the money coming from? What's the motivation? It's not to help you. History proves it's not to help you.